Now, to start a collage, you're going to need to pick out some ephemera. You can cut pages from old books. You can cut them from just old catalogs. You can print them out from online. The Graphics Fairy is a great place to get free images for your artwork. I saved these online and had them printed Xerox color copies, so that they're good quality copies and the colors won't run. Now, if you want to print something out on an inkjet printer, I would recommend that you heat set it with an iron and possibly do a very light, very thin coat of glue over the top, or gel medium, something to seal it. You don't want to put a lot because it can make your colors bleed. So what we're going to do is we're going to take E6000 jewelry adhesive, and we're going to apply it to the back edge that we made smooth. Now the front edge has the drips, and the back edge is the one that we smoothed down for this purpose. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add just a tiny bit of glue to that edge. The good thing about E6000 is that when it dries very clear. So when we pour our ice resin in, it's going to be clear on top of clear. So you're not really going to be able to see if any of this comes inside the bezel. You want to make sure that you do a nice steady line without any breaks in it. You choose what area you want and set it down. And you're going to let that set, and you're going to let it dry. Same with this one. We're just going to add a very fine bead of glue to the edge. Just make sure it's a nice continuous stream, or make sure that it's not broken, that there is a solid line all the way down. So you don't want to go dotting it, because this is sealing the paper onto the back so that you can pour the resin into it after it's dried. And you don't want your resin pouring out, seeping out where any holes are. So you've got that down, and you just place it on your paper, and you let that dry. I would give it maybe an hour, maybe longer. I usually do mine at night, and then I let them dry till the next day, which is what I'm going to be doing here. So you're going to let that dry, and after it's dry, we're going to trim around the edges with a pair of scissors and cut that excess paper away. And we'll get back to that tomorrow. Okay, now that we've got our houses trimmed, we're going to prepare these to put ice resin. What I like to do, since this is just a single sheet of paper, is I like to seal it with some gloss medium, or Mod Podge, any kind of glue. So just put a little bit inside, and then I'll brush it around, making sure to seal the edges where they meet up with the metal. I like to just make sure you brush a good even coat. Doesn't take a lot. Just really get it into the creases on the edges and seal the paper very well. This keeps the ice resin from soaking through to the paper, and it keeps it from leaking out onto your surface. It just keeps everything where it's supposed to be. Now if you want, you can make the background clear, see-through, and we'll do that at the very end after we've poured our ice resin and it has cured. Then we can brush ice resin onto the back, and that will soak into the paper and cause it to go clear. But for our first pouring, I like to make sure that everything stays in. Now after you've brushed your gloss medium in to seal the paper, you can take a heat gun and dry it. Okay, so our next step after the gel medium has dried inside the houses is to decide what we're going to put in our houses. So I made a little mold on a little frozen charlotte, and then I put oven baked clay in and baked it and got a little half frozen charlotte that is flat on the back. And then you can fill them with little trinkets of costume jewelry, or just whatever you want to put in there. You can make a different collage. You can put a picture in. Pretty much anything you could put, fabric, pieces of, anything you can find, you can put inside these houses and decorate them how you want to. So once you figure out what you want to put in, then you just take a little bit of your E6000 and you put it on the back and you glue it in. And I would recommend letting it dry before you do the ICE resin.